Good evening and welcome to our virtual celebration of the Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association and their recipients. Tonight we recognize 153 of our graduating seniors for academic achievements at Coon Rapids High School. The Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association has awarded scholarships since 1966 and totaling over $4 million. The generosity of our community is amazing and much appreciated during the challenges that we are currently experiencing. Please take note of these local businesses and their ongoing support of our school and our community. This evening, the donors have provided $205,300 to be awarded to Coon Rapids High School graduates. Class of 2020, along with your parents and your loved ones, congratulations on your academic successes. Continue to be lifelong learners on your journey that models kindness, loyalty, and integrity with all that you encounter. We wish you happiness and continued successes in your future. Thank you again to our donors, as well as the hard work and commitment of the members of the Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association. This evening is representative of the unique and special community that Coon Rapids is.
Hello everyone, I'm Jim Best, President of the Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association. And on behalf of my CRCSA colleagues, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to the 2020 Scholarship Awards. This is our 55th awards ceremony, and tonight is obviously significantly different than the other 54 ceremonies. Once again, my colleague and past president of CRCSA, Howard Helgen, and I will be sharing the MC duties, but because of the pandemic and physical distancing requirements, we are coming to you pre-recorded, thanks to the technological expertise and generosity of local cable network CTN. We would like to extend our sincere thanks to CTN and the staff whose efforts make this award ceremony possible. Thanks also to Anoka Hennepin District 11 and everyone at Coon Rapids High School, administrators, counselors, teachers, paraprofessionals, administrative professionals, health professionals, custodial staff, nutrition services, coaches and activity leaders, and others who work so hard to support the students. In a recorded message to the scholarship recipients a few weeks ago, I stated how unfortunate it was that current circumstances have negatively impacted their senior year. However, as unfortunate as current circumstances may be, I also shared with them their extraordinary good fortune to be graduates of Coon Rapids High School and have the support of such a caring and incredibly generous community. As evidence of that support, this year, through the generosity of concerned individuals, businesses, foundations, and community organizations, we will award funds which represent the highest average scholarship totals in the history of CRCSA. This would not have been possible without the support of our generous donors who, when times are tough, stepped up once again in a major way to reward our deserving students for their accomplishments and perseverance. As I mentioned, this is our 55th year of CRCSA awarding scholarships to deserving graduating seniors. From humble beginnings in 1966, when 24 scholarships were awarded for a total amount of just over $4,000. Tonight, 152 recipients will be awarded over $200,000. Allow me a minute to introduce the members of the Scholarship Association. Jill Appel, John Bump, Dick Casey, Julia Cornell Smith, Ashley Gerard, Karen Hedman, Howard Helgen, Sharon Legg, Bob McCann, Cindy Miller, Gail Owen, Bob Powell, Elvina Powell, Bill Reichenborn, John Sabo, Judy Sabo, John Sanders, Gary Smith, Amy Storick, and Cammie Thone. It takes a significant amount of planning and coordination for this event to take place. Everyone in the association is committed and works very hard, but I'd like to recognize several members for their time and exceptional effort. Julia Cornell-Smith and Amy Stork are guidance counselors at the high school, and the job of communicating, coordinating, and organizing the student applications is challenging in a normal year. As we all know, this year is certainly not normal, yet Julia and Amy handled things superbly, and we are extremely grateful for everything they do. Ashley Gerard does just about everything involved with putting this program together, and the task was infinitely tougher this year. She handled it efficiently, with tireless professionalism and grace. Gail Owen and John Sanders are our treasurers, and they handle and process the hundreds and hundreds of donations we receive every year, and expertly keep track of CRCSA's financial record keeping. Bob Powell is the secretary for the association and has the difficult job of keeping track of meeting minutes to keep us organized. I always try to thank Bob for his efforts and want to take this time to publicly do so. Thanks also to Bob Powell and Bill Reichenborn for their efforts to maintain and monitor the aluminum can collection receptacle in the parking lot of the high school. And to Bob McCann and his business Mailing Solutions, Inc. for the generous gift of services. This is a really big deal and means more of the funds we raise go directly towards scholarships for students rather than expenses. Okay, that's it for opening remarks and setting the stage. Now let's get to the scholarships. As I mentioned earlier, Howard, Helgen, and I will be sharing the MC duties tonight. In some cases, we have phonetic spelling help and are going to do the best we can to pronounce everyone's names. But just to get it out of the way, here's a preemptive apology to anyone whose names we mispronounce. Here we go with the first scholarship of the evening. Sarah Abbas receives the scholarship from the Class of 79 Memorial. The school, Coon Rapids High School Class of 79 class reunion, they collected money in honor of their classmates who have passed away. Kothar Abshir receives the scholarship from the Coon Rapids Lions Foundation. Dolayinka Adamola Green receives the Tammy Bear Memorial Scholarship from the Tammy Bear family and friends and CRCSA. Tammy was a teacher in the Anoka-Hennepin district for 22 years, the last 18 as a second grade teacher at Hoover Elementary in Coon Rapids. She sadly passed away in 2017, and her family and friends have created a scholarship to benefit students she taught as they graduate. We are honored to have a video from Tammy's husband Ryan and their 3 children.
Hello everyone, we are the Bear family and we are honored to present the Tammy Bear Memorial Scholarship tonight. Tammy Bear was a beloved second grade teacher at Hoover Elementary School for over 20 years. She was passionate about educating the next generation as well as ensuring that each of her students felt loved and appreciated. Unfortunately, Mrs. Bear passed away in September of 2017, leaving us far too soon. She was only 45 years old. As her family, we wanted to find a way to honor her legacy, which is why this scholarship was created. We look forward to presenting this scholarship every year to one of her students until the last class of Mrs. Bear's second graders graduates. Congratulations to this year's recipient. We know Mrs. Bear is so proud of you.
Senayab Al-Obeidi receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Lions Foundation. Allison Alshaus receives a scholarship from the Alan and Therese Hamill and CRCSA. Abigail Valeria Alvarado Gonzalez receives a scholarship from the Harlan Thurston Foundation's Erling and Geneva Johnson Scholarship and CRCSA. Anthony Amon receives a scholarship from the Cardinal Tennis Association and Sand Creek Elementary PTO. Sammy Apia Sirabor receives a Bruce Frank Legacy Scholarship. Bruce was a longtime CRCSA member and director and was an advocate and champion for many worthy causes in the community. Bruce passed away in January 2018 and left a generous gift to CRCSA to establish a legacy scholarship. Bruce was a true force for good and is deeply missed. Amaya Armstrong receives a scholarship from the Competition Cheer Spirit Booster Club and CRCSA. The Competition Cheer Spirit Booster Club has also established a legacy scholarship with CRCSA. Jack Arndt receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Cardinal Little League and the Well and CRCSA. Damaris Avalia Teez receives a scholarship from the National Honor Society. The Coon Rapids National Honor Society is active in raising funds for scholarships every year. We appreciate their efforts in this wonderful partnership. Noah Ayalaw receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Lions Foundation. Miriam Bafali receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Lions Foundation. Keely Ball also receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Lions Foundation. Rachel Bauk receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Fast Pitch Association and CRCSA. Julia Beck receives a scholarship from the Breitbach Family Dentistry and CRCSA. Nathan Becker receives a scholarship from Coon Rapids VFW Post 9625 and CRCSA. The Coon Rapids VFW Post 9625 is also a legacy scholarship presenter with CRCSA.
Jim, we're going to be presenting a number of memorial scholarships tonight in honor of loved ones who've passed away. And one of them is the Joanne Hammergren Memorial Scholarship. Joanne was a longtime resident of Coon Rapids who passed away in 2009, and her family members have presented this scholarship in her memory. And one of her extended relatives, Tim Anderson, is a golf pro at Bunker Hills here in Coon Rapids, and so they have provided for the Joanne Hammergren Memorial Swinging for Scholarships, scholarship that's awarded this year to Anna Beskalo.
Saboat Berhanu receives a scholarship from the Connexus Energy Foundation. Nicole Bissett receives the scholarship from the Green Bay Packaging and George Kress Foundation and CRCSA. Curtis Blasky receives a scholarship from the Connexus Energy Foundation. Emma Bolin receives the Socha Family Scholarship in memory of Michaela Peters and from an anonymous donor. As you mentioned, Howard, there will also be a video presented for Michaela Peters.
Hi, my name is Bill Peters. I'm Michaela Day Peters' dad. Michaela grew up, she had a mom, she had a sister named Sammy, and a brother named Ryan. Michaela started piano when she was 2 years old, and then she went to Coon Rapids High School. She then went into choir, and she did piano and choir through her whole life. And then she went to school. She went to college at Bethel in a nursing program. And after 5 years, she decided that wasn't for her, so she graduated with a psychology degree and moved on from there. I want to just say thank you, and I want to bless the person who gets to receive this scholarship. And thank you from my family.
Taylor Boris receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Kiwanis Club in memory of Lewis Peterson. Lewis Peterson was a wonderful guy and a longtime assistant principal at Coon Rapids High School. Lewis was very active in the community and sadly passed away in 2018. He is missed but fondly remembered by his family and many friends here in Coon Rapids. James Brinda receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Cardinal Little League and the Well in CRCSA. Ashley Burtek receives a scholarship from Timothy Schmolke and CRCSA. Ethan Carson receives a scholarship from Nancy Goldstein in memory of Ben, Libby, and Bruce Frank and CRCSA. Cassandra Cerrone Fernandez receives a scholarship from Roger and Ann Gervasi and CRCSA. Madeline Cha receives a scholarship courtesy of the National Honor Society.
Jim, our next scholarship is another memorial scholarship. And many of the scholarships we're awarding that are memorials are in honor of past educators who've been at Coon Rapids High School for many years. And Edith Fraser was a longtime librarian at Coon Rapids High School. Probably nowadays they'd call her a media specialist. And in her memory, her relatives James Fraser and Catherine Fraser have awarded the Edith Fraser Memorial Scholarship. So this year, the recipient of the Edith Fraser Memorial Scholarship is Aria Chantavale.
Thank you, Howard. The next scholarship goes to Megan Kosman, and it is awarded by the Anoka Hennepin Elementary and Secondary Principals Association and David Brosh. Gian Delfrat receives a scholarship from the Connexus Energy Foundation.
Ron Scott was the Coon Rapids football coach from back in the 60s to sometime in the 1980s, and at that time Coon Rapids had some of its powerhouse football teams. His wife, Karen Scott, was very involved with our scholarship association at that time, and in fact, Jim, I believe she was the one that called Bruce Frank and asked Bruce to come to a meeting and see what this was all about. So in some respects, Karen had a great role in getting our association going. The Scotts had a daughter, Sue Scott, who graduated from Coon Rapids High School in 1976 and was a marketing professional in the hearing industry for many years. Unfortunately, she passed away in October 2017 at the age of only 59. So we have a little video from the Scott family regarding Sue Scott.
The Susan Scott Scholarship will be given in memory of Susan Scott, who graduated from Coon Rapids High School. She was an honor athlete, two-sport student, and graduated from St. Cloud University with a degree in photochemical engineering and marketing.
So this year's recipient of the Sue Scott Memorial and Stanley and Jean Roseanne Scholarship is Rachel Dieters. Then our next scholarship is also a memorial scholarship. Liz Helm was a longtime member of our association who passed away in 2009. Her husband, Bill, was awarded the scholarship this year by their children in his memory. The recipient of the Mary Helm Duryea and Peter Duryea Scholarship in memory of R.W. Bill Helm is Acuna Dethel.
Thank you, Howard. Brady McLean was a 2012 graduate from Coon Rapids who excelled in the Secondary Technical Education Program, or STEP. Sadly, Brady left us way too soon in 2016. His family is honored to present scholarships in his name to benefit students interested in furthering their education in the area of technical education. This year's Brady McLean Memorial Scholarship, courtesy of Kelly McLean and John Lom and CRCSA's STEP Scholarship, goes to Connor DeWald. Jessica Dulong receives a scholarship courtesy of the National Honor Society. Maya Dupay receives a scholarship from the Adams Elementary PAC, Parent Advisory Council, and CRCSA. Anaya Eid receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Middle School Faculty Council, Carol Austin, and Eric Christofferson. Kiona Eagle is the recipient of the Gail Nelson Memorial Scholarship, courtesy of the Gail Nelson family and CRCSA. Gail Nelson was a secretary at Coon Rapids High School for many years, but her favorite job was being a mother and homemaker. Sadly, Gail passed away last year. We are honored to have a video from her husband Mark to present the Gail Nelson Memorial Scholarship.
Hello, I'm Mark Nelson, and I'm here to honor my wife, Gail Nelson, who worked in the health and guidance offices until her retirement in 2017. We have 3 sons, Wes, Nick, and Ross, 3 wonderful daughters-in-law, and 5 grandchildren. Gail was known for her sense of humor, laughter, and her love of the students at Coon Rapids. In fact, many times students had to be reminded to head to their classroom instead of visiting with her at her desk. This is the first year of the Gail Nelson Memorial Scholarship, funded by donations from her former colleagues in the Coon Rapids High School work family. We know that Gail would be very proud of this investment in a student's future, and it means a lot to our family to be able to have her legacy continue through the gift of this scholarship. Congratulations.
Sarah Eichstad receives a scholarship courtesy of Chuck and Donna Scollin. Abigail Ellenbecker receives a scholarship from Toys for Joy, Inc. and CRCSA.
Jim, one of our members, Bill Reichenborn, is a very active member of the Coon Rapids Super Senior Club, and for many years the Senior Club has awarded scholarships to our graduating seniors. So the first scholarship from the Coon Rapids Super Senior Club tonight is going to Kayla Emmerich. Austin Enyart receives the Dr. Mark Kelly Scholarship in memory of his father, Jerry Kelly. And Mark Kelly's sister, Denise Evans, has been a longtime teacher in our district. The Coon Rapids Community Strength Foundation and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association awards a scholarship to Blake Erickson. Coon Rapids Dance Team and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association awards a scholarship to Caitlin Erickson. Connexus Energy Foundation awards another scholarship this year to Andar Farhan. The Fridley Lions Club awards a scholarship to Meredith Foster. Ryan Garlick also receives a Connexus Energy Foundation scholarship. We now move to another one of our memorial scholarships. Paul Perez was a real force in Coon Rapids athletics. I coached and refereed with Paul for many years in youth sports. I always remember when Paul would start refereeing a football game with a little bunch of fourth graders and he'd say, "Gentlemen, let's have a clean game." Paul was a wonderful guy. He died too young in 2014 at age 59. Survived by his wife Dawn and children Valerie, Paul, and Stacy. In Paul's honor, we present again this year the Paul Perez Memorial Scholarship, Coon Rapids Baseball Rec League, and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association to Trinity Geyer. Our next scholarship is the John Georgopoulos Memorial Scholarship. John Georgopoulos taught art at Coon Rapids High School for 32 years before he passed away recently. He was very proud of his Greek heritage, but most of all, he loved people. He loved traveling, reading, cooking, and gardening, and he'll remain in the hearts of many, including his 3 siblings. One of the people that he mentored in the art field, Sarah Helmberg, has presented the following video.
John Georgopoulos was an art teacher at Coon Rapids High School for 32 years. Many called him John George, but his students would simply call him George. Under his guidance, I spent my first 8 years as an art teacher learning how to challenge my students to make their best artwork. He was a well-loved teacher with a great sense of humor and had a passion for all the arts. Many of his students went on to become artists and continue to stay in contact with him over the years. It is very fitting that his legacy goes to support young artists here at CRHS.
The Georgopoulos Memorial Scholarship is presented to Miles Gilliard. A number of our donors are the various PTOs from the schools in the Anoka-Hennepin District. This one is the Morris By Elementary PTO and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association Scholarship that's awarded to Zachary Goldenstein. Now we have another memorial scholarship. This one is for the Virginia Ginny Bray Memorial Scholarship. Ginny's daughter, Michelle Wilson, has put together the following video to memorialize Ginny's life.
This is Ginny Bray when she was your age. From a poor working-class family, Ginny was nominated for Snow Queen her senior year. In '61, she married Coon Rapids teacher Gary Bray. In 1967, the young family left Minneapolis for Coon Rapids. There, Gary and Ginny raised their 3 kids. Ginny was very active and one of a handful of Coon Rapids moms who worked downtown in the '70s. The Brays attended Epiphany Church and were active in youth sports where many of your parents met Ginny's kids. Ginny's later years revolved around her 6 grandchildren and later her great-grandchildren. A very fit woman, Ginny walked the length of Mississippi Boulevard daily until the very last year of her life. Congratulations to the scholarship recipient and to the class of 2020.
The recipient of the Virginia Ginny Bray Memorial Scholarship is Caitlin Goldman. Steinwall Incorporated and the Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association award a scholarship to Jasmine Gonzalez. The Coon Rapids retired staff and our Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association award a scholarship to Naomi Griffith. I want you to take a look at this next slide. This one is a memorial scholarship in honor of James Law by his children Ian, Alan, Jamie, and David Law. And you will see number 70 in that picture is now our Anoka Hennepin Superintendent, David Law. So this year's recipient of the Law Family Scholarship, also given on behalf of Coon Rapids High School Girls Hockey Boosters, is Grace Hanula. Seth Hansen also receives the Paul Perez Memorial and Coon Rapids Baseball Rec League Scholarship. Jeff Ammon, Farmers Insurance and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association grant a scholarship to Catherine Harold. Madeline Hedlund receives the Mercy Hospital Medical Staff and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association Scholarship. We now have another memorial scholarship, and a little bit later we're going to show the video. This is in memory of Jim Oftedal, a retired educator at Coon Rapids High School. And we'll be showing a little later a video from Jim's wife, Marian Oftedal. The first recipient of the Oftedal Memorial Scholarship is Jared Haida. The Competition Cheer Spirit Booster Club and Dr. Daniel and Janet and Russell Feeney award the next scholarship. Janet Feeney and her husband Daniel have been longtime members in the past of our association. This year the scholarship is awarded to Madison Hines. Coon Rapids VFW Post 9625 and also Daniel, Janet, and Russell Feeney award a scholarship to Reginald Hellkamp. Another scholarship from the Coon Rapids Super Senior Club. This one goes to Carter Heeman. Grace Henneman receives the Coon Rapids High School Girls Basketball Booster Club and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association Scholarship. Cardinal Tennis Association and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association award a scholarship to Tyler Hewitt. And another scholarship from Coon Rapids Super Senior Club goes to Amaya Hill. The next one is another memorial scholarship. Sue Everett taught English at Coon Rapids High School for many, many years. Sue's mother, Ruth Everett, died in the past year, and Sue and her brother Charles have given a scholarship in memory of their mother. So this year, Emma Hoffman receives the Susan and Charles Everett Scholarship in memory of Ruth Everett, also given on behalf of Anoka Hennepin Erling Johnson Scholarship Fund. Well, now we move on to another one with the Bruce Frank Legacy Scholarship. We're going to have a video in a minute, but I just wanted to make a couple other remarks. I was trying a lawsuit in Anoka a number of years ago, and the other attorney had given his final argument, and I get the final say in a civil case. So I thought things had gone pretty well, and I asked my client just before I made my argument, well, what do you think? And he says, gee, Howard, that's a hard act to follow. And I thought things had gone really well. But you know, Bruce Frank is really a hard act to follow. And when Bruce stopped being our president, Jim, a number of years ago, and I took over as president, there really was no way to fill Bruce's shoes because he was the heart and soul of this organization for many, many years. And when Bruce passed away in January of 2018, we all felt a deep sense of loss, both for all the students that he'd given gifts to over the years and for the remarks he's made that Jim and I would be making right now, normally Bruce would be making. So Bruce, as a real act of generosity, as part of his estate planning, gave a legacy gift that's going to present scholarships to the following generations for years to come, basically in perpetuity. And so we're going to show now the video, portion of the video that we showed earlier at another ceremony, giving some highlights of Bruce's contributions to the community.
A longtime Coon Rapids resident and champion of kids and the community has died. Bruce Frank passed away Sunday at the age of 77. Funeral services were held Wednesday at the Bethel Synagogue in St. Louis Park. In addition to his work for children, Bruce was also known from his days in radio and TV.
8 seconds. 3! Anderson for 3. Oh my!
Bruce spent years doing play-by-play announcing of high school sporting events for Quad Cities Community Television in the Anoka area. He was also the radio personality for Kano Radio, where he launched Coffee with the Coaches. But Bruce will most be remembered for what he gave back to the community, especially local students. He was active in the Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association, raising funds for high school students heading to college. He was also the first executive director of the Anoka Hennepin Educational Foundation, a role he served in from 1993 to 2004.
He was the person who rallied others to get involved. He was the person who said, come on, I know this is important to you. Help me out at Anoka Halloween. Help me at the Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast. Help me support the Kiwanis in selling, things at the Anoka County Fair. It was that role that Bruce had. He brought other people to the cause and to supporting students in our communities.
Those who knew him say they will remember him as a caring and generous man dedicated to our students and our future. Bruce is survived by his sister and brother, along with many other family members and friends.
So the recipient of the Bruce Frank Legacy Scholarship is Noah Hofstede. Naima Hussein receives the Brady McLean Memorial Scholarship given by Kelly McLean and John Lom and John and Sherry Egan. Our next scholarship is another memorial scholarship that bears some talking about. Joe Miller was married to our longtime member, Cindy Miller. At the age of only 47 in 2008, Joe was killed in a tragic accident, survived by Cindy and their children, Jonathan and Hannah. And in Joe's memory, the Miller family has awarded this Joe Miller Aloha Hero Memorial Scholarship every year. Joe Miller loved Hawaii, and at his funeral, people were asked to wear Hawaiian attire. If you'd attended some of our previous award ceremonies, you may have seen Hannah or Jonathan wearing leis when they presented the scholarships on awards night. So we will have a video highlighting Joe's life later in the program. But at this time, the first of the Joe Miller Aloha Hero Memorial Scholarships is given to Pearl Jensen. The Rothstein family has also established a memorial scholarship in memory of Peter Rothstein. His surviving spouse Cindy and their children Aaron, David, and Sarah Lobbs and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association award a scholarship to Lindsay Johnson. Keith Cook, alumnus, is the next scholarship, and Jim, you're going to take this one.
Yes. Keith Cook, as Howard mentioned, is a very supportive alumnus of Coon Rapids High School and donates funds every year that are matched by his employer to fund scholarships for deserving graduates. The first of the Keith Cook alumnus scholarships this year is awarded courtesy of Keith Cook and Coon Rapids Boys Basketball Booster Club to Isaac Johnson.
Our next scholarship comes from Kelly Becker and the Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association. It's awarded to Leah Johnson. The Coon Rapids Girls Lacrosse Boosters and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association award a scholarship to Ava Johnston. The next Jim Oftedal Memorial Scholarship also comes from ABC Gymnastics, and that is given to Kalia Jones. Tom Kiekover, in honor of foreign exchange students, awards the next scholarship to Devin Kaiserschott. All Seasons Garage Door and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association awards a scholarship to Faith Kemp. Kamala King receives the Coon Rapids Swim and Dive Booster Club and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association Scholarship. Fridley Lions Club award a scholarship to Ashley Klingenberg. Longtime donors Kenneth and Patricia Sundstrom and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association award a scholarship to Tara Kepke. Transformative Circle and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association award a scholarship to Ayantu Koji.
The Cardinal Hockey Red Line Club and CRCSA present their first scholarship to Jacob Curry. And their second scholarship from the Cardinal Hockey Red Line Club and CRCSA goes to Ryan Corey.
Longtime supporters of the Coon Rapids Scholarship Association were Wanda and Tel Yell. And Corey Yelskiba has given a scholarship in memory of Tel Yell and Ronald Burgess. And Ronald Burgess' spouse, Elaine Burgess, was a longtime principal in the Anoka-Hennepin District. So this year, the scholarship in memory of Tel Yell and Ronald Burgess goes to Jordan Kriebel.
The Coon Rapids Cardinal Little League and the Well and CRCSA scholarship, another one of those this year, goes to Brady Kunkel. Emma Quida receives the scholarship from longtime CRCSA member and Keller Williams Classic Realty realtor Gary Smith and his daughter Alexandra Smith. Alexandra is also an alumna of Coon Rapids High School. A scholarship from Dow Wynn CPA and CRCSA goes to Kayla Langworthy. Samantha Lum receives a scholarship from Coon Rapids Fast Pitch Association and CRCSA. Olivia Marty receives a scholarship from Britt Sabo and CRCSA. The Coon Rapids High School Girls Hockey Boosters and CRCSA awards a scholarship to Sarah McClellan.
Jim, our next one is another honorary scholarship that we give out. Karen Copa was a longtime member of the Scholarship Association and was very supportive of the efforts that we have to award scholarships to graduating seniors. Karen lives up north, but usually would come down every year for our award ceremony and would present her honorary scholarship herself. This year, obviously, because of our COVID-19 situation, that's not going to happen. So this year, we're going to present the Karen Copa Honorary Scholarship, also donated in part by Ha Vu and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association, to Sidney McClure.
Another one of the scholarships from the Coon Rapids VFW Post 9625 in CRCSA is presented to Kiara Mendlick. Heidi Mercado receives a scholarship from Heather Bagley and CRCSA. Mackenzie Mullenkamp is the recipient of the Olav and Circa Sabo Scholarship. Olav is a Coon Rapids graduate and is serving the country as a captain in the U.S. Coast Guard. We thank him for his service and generosity.
Should also mention his parents are longtime members, Judy and John Sabo.
Absolutely, and I was remiss in not congratulating and appreciating his sister, who I believe gave a previous scholarship, Britt Sabo. Hannah Murdoch receives a scholarship from Kevin and Patricia Wasik in CRCSA. The Cardinal Tennis Association in CRCSA presents another scholarship, this one to Sophia Murillo. The second scholarship, funded by generous alumnus Keith Cook, is presented to Marissa Nelson. Emma Newton receives a scholarship from the Cardinal Tennis Association and CRCSA. Another one of the Bruce Frank Legacy Bequest Scholarships is presented this year to Bryn Wynn. Summer Neats is the recipient of the scholarship courtesy of Donald and Vicky Funfar and CRCSA. Howard, like many of the scholarships presented, whether it be memorial or honorary type of things, or to honor or memorialize some things. This one is very interesting. It's the Coughlin Family Scholarship, who present a scholarship in honor of their 6 children who graduated in years 2005, 2008, 2010, twins in 2013, and in 2017. For their generosity, we certainly appreciate the scholarship and are delighted to present it this year to Catherine No. I'm going to take a minute on this one too, Howard. Billy Harper was a 2010 graduate from Coon Rapids High School, where he was a gifted athlete, honor student, and known for his terrific smile. Sadly, Billy passed away way too soon, at age 19, while a student at the U of M Duluth. Friends have established a scholarship in Billy's memory, and it's presented this year courtesy of the Billy Harper Memorial and CRCSA to Jordan Nolan. Josiah Novak is a recipient of the scholarship courtesy of Relieve Care and CRCSA. Sarah Nunamaker is a recipient of a scholarship from a new donor to CRCSA this year, the Little Bighorn Company and CRCSA. We certainly appreciate their generosity. Hannah Olson receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Girls Fast Pitch Booster Club and CRCSA. The recipient of the Charles and Patricia McGee and CRCSA scholarship is Awar Angacha. The Shirley and Merrill Golier Memorial and CRCSA scholarship is this year presented to Faith Osei. Matthew Patakin receives a scholarship courtesy of the Gerhardt Funeral Home and CRCSA. Francis Pagar Flangia receives a scholarship courtesy of Kate Bershako, alumna, and CRCSA. Emma Perry receives a scholarship this year courtesy of Rebecca Frost in memory of Coach Oftedal in CRCSA. Isaiah Rabarczyk receives a scholarship this year from the Joe Miller Aloha Hero Memorial in CRCSA. And I believe we have the video of the scholarship from the family coming up now. Another very generous family is the Kofsky Family Scholarship in memory of Bruce Frank. This Kofsky family is actually the family of our dear friend and colleague, Ashley Gerard. Bruce was a very dear friend of the family, and they are delighted to present a scholarship in memory of Bruce Frank. The recipient this year is Emma Ressler. Border State Bank has been a very generous contributor to CRCSA, and this year the Border State Bank and CRCSA scholarship is presented to Alyssa Ross. Lauren Saba receives the Vesio Evanson family from Nathan and Michelle Evanson, alumni, and CRCSA. Another one of the Coon Rapids VFW Post 9625 scholarships presented by CRCSA and the Coon Rapids VFW Post 9625 is presented this year, again, to Anna Samet. Vanessa Santana receives a scholarship from the Cub Food South store and CRCSA. The Cub Food South store off of Northdale has been very, very generous to CRCSA, and not only presents a scholarship, but allows us to graciously bag groceries there to receive and as a fundraiser from National Honor Society. Thank you to the Cub Food South and their manager, Dale Lewis. Wilfred Sato is the recipient of the Lauer Family Fund Scholarship, Greg Lauer and CRCSA. Alyssa Saibunli receives another of the Joe Miller Aloha Hero Memorial Scholarships. Hollenbeck and Nelson, Inc. and CRCSA presents a scholarship to Masuma Sayada. Shania Scarborough receives a scholarship courtesy of Dick and Kathy Casey and CRCSA. Dick has been a longtime member of CRCSA and a very valuable contributor to our efforts.
And Kathy was a member also in the past as well.
Thank you, Howard, for that information. Meg Scheck is a recipient of a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Fast Pitch Booster Club and CRCSA. And Ariel Schillerberg receives a scholarship courtesy of the Vaness Family Scholarship, Brad, Lynn, Ryan, Caitlin, Renee Vaness, and Michelle Fall. Howard, I'll turn it back to you.
Thanks, Jim. Not exactly Huntley and Brinkley, but we're getting there. The next donor is Sharon Keller, who is a longtime teacher and coach at Coon Rapids High School. And the scholarship from Sharon Keller and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association goes to Peyton Sevchuk. The Philipsett Family Foundation and also Charles and Andrea Philipsik and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association award the next scholarship to Gurjit Singh. You know, Jim mentioned that Bob McCann, one of our members, does our mailings, which has been invaluable to us over the years in allowing us to get those mailings out in a timely fashion and at minimal cost to the association. So in addition to all that Bob does, he's also awarding a scholarship this year on behalf of his business Mailing Solutions to Michael Smith. The Rasmussens and the Northeast Bank Foundation award a scholarship to Reed Smith. Cardinal Tennis Association and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association award a scholarship to Liam Speltz. Our next scholarship is from Mississippi Elementary PTO and the Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association. You can see the otter from Mississippi in the slide there. This year's recipient is Troy Springus. Nick and Avis Brasheko, former members of the Scholarship Association, give a scholarship in memory of Arlene Zeithammer, Avis's mother, also given on behalf of Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association. We have a photo of Arlene on the slide. This year's recipient is Eric St. Clair. Longtime members John and Judy Sabo and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association award a scholarship to Eric Sterling. Another of our Joe Miller Aloha Hero Memorial Scholarships, this one goes to Alexander Stewart. The Livermore Girls ×3, this is Gail and Neil Livermore and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association. You'll see in the photo Gail and Neil's 3 daughters and their families. The scholarship is awarded to Amissa Stewart. The Storick Family Scholarship on behalf of our longtime member Amy Storick and husband Scott, and also on behalf of Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association is given to Kevin Struss. And as Jim mentioned, Amy has been instrumental over the years in doing tremendous work for our association. Jorgensen Construction, Inc. and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association award a scholarship to Ja Hong Sun. The Harlan Thurston Foundation's Erling and Geneva Johnson Scholarship, along with the Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association scholarship, goes to Annabelle Swanson. Our next scholarship is the Jim Oftedal Memorial Scholarship. We mentioned earlier that Jim was a retired coach and teacher in the school district, and we're going to be introducing the video that has been put together on his behalf.
I'm Jim Oftedal's wife, Marion, and I'd like to say a few words about Jim. He began his teaching career at Coon Rapids High School in 1964 as a special education teacher and a tennis coach. He later became the head librarian, and after his retirement in 1995, he had served 31 years at Coon Rapids High School. Jim loved working with his colleagues and loved interacting with students. Many times during the day, when the bell would ring and the students would step out of the library and into the hallway, you may have heard him say, "Be careful, it's a jungle out there." Jim had a special way of connecting with people, making many lifelong friends. My family and I are very proud of Jim's contributions within the community and the high school throughout his life. When Jim passed away last June, we were thankful for his many friends who made a contribution in the memory of Jim to the scholarship fund that supports the graduates as they enter a new and exciting part of their life. Jim would want them all to be successful in their future endeavors.
The Jim Oftedal Memorial Scholarship goes to Christy Tabla. Well, we may remember that last fall, the Coon Rapids football team had one of the most successful seasons in history. It was really a thrill to go to the U.S. Bank Stadium and see our team play in the championship series. And this year, the Coon Rapids Gridiron Club and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association are awarding a scholarship. This year it goes to outstanding athlete and also outstanding student Miles Taylor. James Page and Sharon Hall present a scholarship to Philip Thor. Brett Gageby and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association present a scholarship to Princess Totime. We have another memorial scholarship, this one in memory of Ray Kester and Ann Studeman, presented by Alex, Michael, Ron, and Jane Studeman to Nico Tweedy. The Coon Rapids Gridiron Club and Coon Rapids Cardinal Little League and The Well present a scholarship to Jake Van Hulsen. James Page and Sharon Hall present another scholarship, this one to Sheng Vang. Mississippi Elementary PTO and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association present a scholarship to Angelina Villanueva. Our next scholarship bears a little bit of remarks. We sometimes ask the existential question, why are we here? Well, why are we here tonight? It's because going back to 1966, a guidance counselor at Coon Rapids High School had the foresight to think of the graduating seniors and their future. His name was Howard Kortmeyer. Howard started the Scholarship Association, and as Jim mentioned earlier, the first year in 1966, there were 24 scholarships awarded for $4,100. And at the beginning, it took a great deal of effort even to get those funds generated. Howard was a force in the association. He retired back in 1987, but he continued to be a member of the association. He and Bruce Frank were great friends. Every year in the spring, we'd have our annual association fish fry, and Howard would either catch the fish or he'd get them and he'd bring them over and he'd fry them all up, and we had a great time. And in his memory, we've established this Howard Kortmeyer Memorial Scholarship. So every year after Howard's death in 2013, we take time to remember him for the great perseverance he had with all these years in the association and getting us started. And now in our 55th year, I'm sure he'd be looking down on us and being very proud of what he started. So this year, the Howard Kortmeyer Memorial Scholarship is granted to Will Volk. The Heather McGarry Traeger Scholarship in memory of Bill McGarry this year goes to Diana Vu. And you'll see in the picture a photo of Heather McGarry Traeger and her dad, Bill McGarry. Heather graduated from Coon Rapids High School in 1988. This photo was taken on the day she graduated from college in 1992. Her father died a year later in June of 1993, but Heather wanted us to know that the scholarship she contributes is in honor of her dad, who made her education meaningful and possible. We have another legacy scholarship tonight that's presented on behalf of ABC Gymnastics. ABC Gymnastics has generously donated funds that will allow us to give a scholarship in perpetuity. And this scholarship goes to Gaojiang Shaeya Liu. Graphic Finishing Services and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association award a scholarship to Chloe Warren. Our next scholarship is the Lori M. Brown Memorial Courage Award. Lori Brown was a 1980 graduate of Coon Rapids High School. She was a 3-year member of the cross-country team that was 5th at the state tournament in 1979. That was the best finish that Coon Rapids ever had in the state tournament. She was also a 3-year member and captain of the girls' track team. She set a school record in the half-mile run that stood for over 15 years. Tragically, she passed away from pancreatic cancer in June of 2010, survived by her husband Bob, children Duncan and Erica, and parents William and Norma Brown. In her memory, a scholarship has been awarded to recognize the traits that Lori had of perseverance and inspiration to her teammates and tenacity no matter what the obstacles. We will now see the video that's presented in her memory.
Congratulations on being selected to receive this year's Lori Brown Courage Award Scholarship. Lori was a Coon Rapids alumnus who was a multi-sport athlete. Her favorite activity was cross country, and she excelled through grit, drive, and determination. Lori was taken from this world 10 years ago, and far too soon, by pancreatic cancer. We were all shocked that someone as healthy as Lori could be stricken with such a dreadful disease. But as with everything in her life, Lori faced her diagnosis and harsh treatments with courage. Her spirit lives on in her children, Duncan and Erica, and in the memories of all who knew her. We're sorry we won't get a chance to meet you this year, but hope that you will continue to thrive and show the spirit that inspired your coach to select you for this award.
Lori Brown was an exceptional mother, wife, daughter, and friend who left an impression on everyone she met. She displayed courage throughout many difficult times in her life and inspired those of us around her to do the same. I think we all feel that we are better people for having known her and having her in our life. That is why we are proud to be able to give the Lori M. Brown Memorial Courage Award Scholarship away to someone who also displays these amazing qualities. We hope that as you begin the next chapter in your life, you will continue to show courage and inspire those around you. Thank you.
This year's recipient of the Lori M. Brown Memorial Courage Award is Rebecca Weemholt. Our next scholarship is awarded by the Kathleen Pales Agency, American Family Insurance, and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association, awarded to Natalie Whitney. Coon Rapids Cardinal Little League and the Well and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association awards a scholarship to Jacob Wieland. Lisa A. Newman Newberger and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association award a scholarship to Chloe Winkler. And our last Tammy Bayer Memorial Scholarship, also on behalf of Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association, is given to Connor Wise. Kyle Woodward receives the scholarship from Coon Rapids Swim and Dive Booster Club and Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association. And our last scholarship is from Mike and Maria King, 67 and 68 grads, and also Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association, awarded to Christina Yaboa. Well, Jim, we've come to the end of all the scholarships we're awarding, but people sometimes wonder, what can they do to support our association and how can they help? Well, one of the mundane things that can be done is that you can give us your aluminum cans. You can bring them to the recycling bin that's located in the Coon Rapids High School parking lot, and all the monies we get from that go to awarding scholarships. So part of what we've awarded tonight is the fact that people have recycled their aluminum cans. So that's one simple thing that can be done. The other thing that might happen is you might say as you're watching this, how can I be part of the Scholarship Association? We're all volunteers and we're looking for more people to volunteer. So if you look on the screen, you'll see our email address. You can send us an email and get some information, We have lots of things that can be done. I can assure everyone, Jim, that nobody has to go door to door asking for donations. That's not what happens. If you have lots of different skills we can take advantage of, if you want to do some computer input, if you want to just give us some other donors we might possibly contact, but there's lots of things that can be done, and none of this can happen unless you volunteer and help us. So if you're interested in joining the adventure, as we say, please contact us and get in touch with us. I just also remark on a personal note that it was 50 years ago, almost to this very moment, that I stood at the podium at my high school, Osakis High School, and gave the senior valedictorian address to our senior class. And I had my remarks written out, and I put them on the podium on the bottom of it, and after all the hoopla got done and whatever, I came back because I thought maybe I should hang on to that piece of paper. It might be something. It wasn't exactly the Gettysburg Address, but I thought, maybe I should have that. Well, it turned out while all the hoopla was going on, our genial janitor took it and destroyed it and threw it away. So I never had my remarks. And it wasn't the Gettysburg Address, but as Lincoln said in the Gettysburg Address, the world will little note or remember what we say here, but they will never forget what we did here. So my address to the graduates is, you aren't going to remember what Jim or I said here tonight or anybody else said, but maybe you'll remember what people did to give you this scholarship, that they've gone through a lot. So as you go to the future and you go to college and you go out in your life, remember what you can do to give back to the community, to give back to others, because it is truly more blessed to give than receive. And this community is very generous, and the only way we'll keep this association going for another 55 years is if all of us pitch in and do our part. So congratulations to all our graduating seniors. We wish you the best in your future endeavors, and we hope to hear about your many accomplishments in the future.
Well said, Howard. Thank you very much. I'd like to take, as Bruce said, just a little bit of latitude and give some special thanks to a number of organizations and people who made this possible. Special thanks go certainly to CTN for making the virtual ceremony possible and for making the event special for the 2020 scholarship recipients. Special thanks also go to David Banks Studio for allowing the use of senior photos. 2020 scholarship recipients, thank you for your understanding and patience during these unusual circumstances. Thank you also for attending virtual meetings and for your flexibility. You are our heroes. And parents and family of recipients for supporting your seniors, especially this year. And congratulations, everyone. I have a few final remarks. We're at our close. This year's scholarships of over over $210,000, brings the grand total over the 55 years of the Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association to over $4.4 million. That is incredible. Thank you again to our generous donors. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you to CTN and to everyone who made this scholarship awards night possible, especially to Ashley Gerard, who really turned this around under highly unusual and difficult circumstances. And of course, congratulations to the students. We're all very proud of you and extend our best wishes for a successful future.